plus years of servitude. Egypt in the Bible is similar to. Firstborns got killed cause Pharaoh wouldn't chill. Raised up just to fulfill the Lord's will. Knowing the kingdom wasn't right in the Lord's sight. Syria came down, couldn't even fight. Lord one way to stop with the flight. Now they're strong in the Lord and the power of his might. Let's take a little pause to the story. Today we're not together. That day when Christ returned, he's gonna make us all remember. Babylon came round, gold on the crown. Stop what you're doing, you gotta hear the sound. Daniel got saved for not bowing down, and Nebuchadnezzar was based to the ground. All this time that came along, at this point I just wanna go home. Right when our prayers reached his throne, then we did it all again, it's typical. Lord, we are not worthy. Thank you for all the mercy show, cause we don't deserve it. Behold a new beast, got ribs in his teeth. Raised on one side, Persia was increased.
Yeah. Hey, shalom, shalom, Most High in Christ. Bless everybody. How y'all doing? All praises, all praises. So the title of today's class is If You See Something, Say Something. If you see something, say something. And this apparently is not just something that goes on here in Chicago, because I know, think this past Sabbath or the Sabbath, it had to be the Sabbath before. I know Captain Joel did a class on dealing with being passive, and he addressed some of these things where a lot of times things go on and certain people see things, but they don't say nothing for various reasons. So it's common. It's something common. It's something I've been thinking about. So I'm gonna go through some of the things also in addition to his class that he did. So pull up that first image. That first image, because what we got to do, we got to make sure that as we are in this truth, give me Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. Romans chapter 12 and actually start at verse 1.
The book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
Read.
And be not conformed to this world.
Read that again.
And be not conformed to this world.
So we are in this truth. We came into this truth. Now we have to have the mindset that we cannot be conformed to this world. We have to understand that we can no longer follow after the customs and the ways of the world. Our behaviors can't line up with the ways of the world, the things, how we make decisions, how we decide on what to do and what not to do, how we feel. We got to make sure that we not conforming ourselves to the ways of this world. Read.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
So we have to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. So on this topic of if you see something, say something. In the world, you see something because you may not want to have a level, you may not want to have conflict. You may be scared that somebody's going to retaliate. Whatever the case may be, you may do those various things, and then what we finna read, the image that we read, that phrase of snitches get stitches. Hear no evil, see no evil. Things happen right in front of you, and we just don't say nothing because we don't want to get involved. We got to get rid of that spirit because the body can't grow if you got brothers and sisters in the body seeing things or things are going on and they see it, but yet they don't report it. They don't correct it because they think that they gonna get in trouble or they gonna get they don't want to hear what's the word? Backlash from the person that they may correct. Whatever, we have to get rid of that spirit because the leadership is not always gonna see things. because leadership can't be everywhere at all times. But if we got 50, 60, 70, 80 members in the body, it's going to be situations where you may be present to see something or witness something, and you see it. If you don't say nothing, that spirit will never get corrected. That spirit will never get checked. And that spirit, what's going to happen is it's just going to spread and spread across the body, where that spirit is going to cause damage throughout the body. So read that one more time, verse 2.
Romans chapter 12, verse 2. And be not conformed to this world.
So we cannot be like those that are in the world. Read. We can't have the same ideologies. We can't have the same principles as those that's in the world. Read.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
So we have to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. In this case, if we see something, we got to say something. If we see somebody in the midst of sin, somebody is, even if it's personally, where it's you, somebody offends you. It ain't no, well, you know what, I'm just going to let it go. Half the time when we say things like that, we don't really let it go. And the proof that we don't let it go is if something else happened, it come right up. That'd be the first thought that comes our mind. That lets us know that we really not letting it go. We put it on a bookshelf and thought that it was going to go away. And it really didn't go away because we didn't deal with it. So we got to speak up. We got to say something, because what happens is, even with that example, when offenses come from our brothers, our sisters, what happens, it's an opportunity for you to get to know your brother or sister better. It's an opportunity to build unity, because we all gonna bump heads at one point in time or another, because we all come from different. Generally, we come from the same type of neighborhoods and things like that, but we all had different levels of upbringing, where when we come into this truth, we're gonna bump heads. But when we bump heads, if we talk to one another, we gain our brother, we learn about our brother, we learn about our sister, and we able to grow that much the more, even in ourselves. Read on.
And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
We're going to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. Read.
That ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
So as we let go of the behaviors of the world and we start applying the commandments, we start applying what the scriptures say, we're going to prove that God's will is good to ourselves and to those that are without. Because when we apply it, we're going to see the benefits of it. So let's pull up that image real quick. Go to the other one. I know I tagged it wrong. This is the second image. Go to the it should start with the phrase "snitches get stitches." Because believe it or not, that's this spirit of snitches get stitches. Or what's the other saying that goes with it? This a lot of Israel roll in this spirit, where we think that we roll in the spirit of we don't say nothing because we feel like we gonna get somebody in trouble, and we don't want to get somebody in trouble. We don't want to cause no problems. Let's pull it up. Now it should be start with the phrase "snitches get stitches." No, it's two images with that. It was two images in the telegram. This the second one. All right, let's read that.
The phrase "snitches get stitches" refers to a threat or retaliation against those who report criminal activity to law enforcement, particularly within gang-related or criminal context. This phrase has not done any positive for the black community or any community. Instead, it has been detrimental to the black community, contributing to a no-snitching culture that can...
So, like on that first sentence, it says it's particularly within gang-related or criminal context. So it's really... That's something, that's a saying that they have when you have a particular gang, or you got friends, they go and do some evil, and then amongst themselves, they got a pact with themselves that they not gonna say nothing. If they get caught, neither one of them gonna say nothing. But even with that, it spread throughout the whole community where somebody don't even got nothing to do with it, will see evil and don't say nothing. They'll see somebody get robbed. They'll see somebody get killed, and they'll turn the blind eye because they scared to say something because they feel like they're gonna get retaliated against. Read.
A no snitching culture that can hinder investigations and crime prevention. This code of silence can make it harder for police to solve crimes and protect residents, fuel violence and instability. By discouraging cooperation with authorities, it can allow criminals to operate with impunity, contributing to cycles of violence and instability. Create fear and distrust. It fosters a climate of fear and distrust.
So real quick, it says, go back up a little bit. So it hinders investigations and crime prevention. So in this case, putting this in the perspective of the truth. If things are going on in the body, amongst the brothers, amongst the sisters, whatever, but the people that's seeing it or witnessing it never say nothing, it hinders the leadership from being able to actually find out what's going on and actually correct it, provide a solution. Right. It said this code of silence can make it harder for police to solve crimes and protect residents. Real quick, go to 1 Corinthians chapter 5. Read verse 6.
1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 6.
So the context is talking about fornication, but the same principle applies to everything else that may go on. If you got brothers and sisters in the congregation gossiping, murmuring, and somebody witness it and they don't say nothing, what's going to happen? That spirit is going to spread throughout the rest of the congregation. The gossipers going to band up together, and it's just going to be a gossip party because nobody's saying nothing. Read, and it's going to spread, and it's going to destroy and cause division. Read.
Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump?
A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. A little sin is just, if it's not addressed or corrected, it's just going to spread. It's going to get worse and worse. It's going to get bigger and bigger because that's what leaven does. That's what yeast does. It spreads. It expands. And if things are going on and people are seeing it but they don't say nothing, it's just going to keep going and going, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse until it blow up. And we don't want that to happen. We want to be able to catch it while it's early so it don't spread amongst the congregation. Go back to that image.
Create fear and distrust. It fosters a climate of fear and distrust, making residents feel unsafe and hesitant to engage with law enforcement.
And that's what happens in the community. It's what it says it fosters a climate of fear and distrust, making the residents feel unsafe and hesitant to engage with law enforcement. That's why communities is in the shape they in. You got people that have cameras on the front of their house, and some evil will happen, and they won't give they'll say, "Oh, man, it didn't work." They'll lie. They won't provide the footage to the police so the police can actually investigate, making the problem worse because now the people that are doing the crimes is still on the streets. Read on. And then also just with that, because I think I've mentioned this before, but I remember I was talking to this guy I was doing some work for, and he lived in the city, and there were dealers on his block that was always out, and they was right next door, right in front of his house. He actually called the police to get them, because I think I forgot what he said they were doing, but it was affecting him. He called the police, and the police came to his door and said, "Hey, you talking about them over there?" And then after that, the brother he ended up having to move because now they terrorizing him, busting his windows out because the police was in cahoots with the gangbangers.
The hell is this?
And that's what happens. That culture of no snitching, it just destroys everything because it empowers those that's doing the evil. It empowers them to make them. Because think about it, like the scripture say, give first Sirach chapter 5. Because if a person that's doing evil don't get corrected, what does that do to them? Sirach chapter 5. Is it 5? No, it's not 5. What is it? When the evil work is not when judgment is not executed speedily? 8 and 11. Get that. Ecclesiastes. Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
So, with the example that I just gave, the brother called the police came to the door and said, "Are you talking about them?" Now, these young men, they not being corrected for the evil that they doing. So what's gonna happen? Their heart is gonna continually be fully set to do evil. Same thing within the body. If you got a brother or sister that's gossiping, and yeah, I say a brother or sister, because brothers be gossiping too. Brothers be murmuring, being disgruntled, all of that stuff. If you got a brother or sister that's doing that, and then somebody witnesses it and don't correct it, they gonna continue in that behavior, and it's gonna get worse and worse and worse and worse. Right. So we have to be transformed, and we hear that, we gotta correct them. Say, hey, you shouldn't be talking about that. If you got an issue, go and talk to the person you got an issue with. You shouldn't be talking to me about it, because now you're putting the spirit on me. Now I'm gonna be looking at this brother or sister in a certain way because you done told me something about them that I shouldn't have heard. That's the spirit that we gotta have. Go back to that.
Undermine community safety and justice. It can weaken both informal and formal social control, hindering crime prevention and ensuring justice for victims. In summary, snitches get stitches is a phrase associated with negative consequences and has not benefited.
Go to the next image.
And has not benefited the black community. Efforts are underway to counter this harmful mentality and encourage cooperation with authorities to improve safety and well-being in affected communities.
And that also goes with, let's say you in a situation where you witness something, and then you report it, you tell somebody, and it gets to the leadership. The leadership calls you and questions you. And you say, well, I don't remember the names. I don't know. How can the situation be fixed if you don't want to say who did what? You don't want to repeat it because you may not want to look a certain way to that that brother or that sister. We as a people, we have to understand we sick. When things happen, we got to be able to speak on it, so that it could be addressed. And really, at the end of the day, who cares if that person that's doing the evil, they doing the gossip, whatever they doing, who cares if they feel a certain type of way towards you? Because if they spiritual, they shouldn't feel a certain type of way. They actually should be thankful, because now the whatever it is they struggle with, they battle with, it's been exposed, it's brought to the surface, and now they can get help and be able to overcome that whatever that spirit may be. So if a person got that spirit and that mindset, then something ain't right, and it got to be revealed, because maybe they need to just get up out of here. Get Leviticus chapter 5 and verse 1 real quick.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 5 and verse 1. And if a soul sin and hear the voice of swearing, and is a witness, whether he had seen it or known of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity.
And what we have to understand, because if you a person, you hear sin, let's say you wasn't the person that witnessed it. Let's say the person that witnessed it didn't say nothing, but then it hit your ears. If it hit your ears, now it's on you to say something. It's your responsibility to say something, whether you witnessed it or you heard it through the grapevine. You got to say something, because if you don't say nothing when it hit your ears, now you're gonna bear that same judgment that individual, whether it's stealing, gossiping, you're going to bear the same judgment, what they call it, an accessory. Because you know of some evil, you know of some sin, but you like, I don't want to say nothing because I don't want to cause no problems. Oh, no, you know what, I don't want to say nothing because I don't want no conflict. I don't want to be looked at a certain way. We can't roll in that spirit, because this is a commandment. If you hear the voice of swearing, if you see sin, you got to say something. If you're a witness to something, you got to say something. Even if you're offended, you got to go to your brother or sister and rectify the situation. That was it on Leviticus 5 and 1?
Yes, sir.
Pull that image up.
Fear of consequences. Retaliation.
Read the top.
When someone doesn't speak up after being wronged, it's often due to a mix of emotional, psychological, and situational factors. Here are some common reasons. Fear of consequences. Retaliation. They fear the wrongdoer might hurt them again, especially in abusive or power imbalanced relationships. Loss. They might be afraid of losing a relationship, job, respect, or safety if they speak out.
And with these things, we got to understand that's a spirit. That's an evil spirit. When you have these type of thoughts and these feelings, that's an evil spirit that's on you, trying to stop you from actually doing something so that a solution can be came to, so the situation can be solved. It's a spirit. Read.
Low self-esteem or self-worth. They may feel like their voice doesn't matter. They believe they deserve poor treatment due to internalized shame or guilt.
So it said, what was that? They may feel like their voice doesn't matter, and they believe they deserve poor treatment due to internalized shame or guilt. Real quick, go to 1 Corinthians chapter 12. And I want to go to read verse 2. Read verse start at verse 18.
1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 18. But now hath God set the members, every one of them, in the body.
So he set the members, every one of them, or every one of us, he set us in the body at a particular time. We all here because the Most High called us at this particular time. Read.
As it has pleased him.
and he placed us as it has pleased him. Meaning there are going to be times where you witness something, being that you're a part of this body. You might witness something that got to be revealed. And this witness to you, like I know Captain Joel brought it out. You might be the one that see it because the Most High want you to bring it out. He want you to actually, whether it's bringing it up to the leadership or correct the person. It's a reason why you saw it. Read.
And if they were all one member, where were the body?
Uh-huh.
But now are they many members, yet but one body.
There's many members of this one body. Read.
And the eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of thee, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. Nay, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary.
So this is the part I wanted, because what we just read on that screenshot, it said one of the reasons where people don't say nothing is because they have low self-esteem or self-worth. They may feel like their voice doesn't matter, and they believe they deserve poor treatment due to internalized shame or guilt. Read verse 22 again.
Verse 22. Nay, much more, those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary.
So this is that being transformed by the renewal of your mind. No, you are necessary. If you see something and you know that it's wrong, your voice is necessary. It is necessary for you to say something, because that's how the Most High showed it to you, because it's something that's in you that either he's trying to pull out of you or whatever, but it's up to you to actually go and say something, because when you say something, now the situation can be resolved. Or it may be you to correct the person and say, hey, that's not scriptural. That's not how is that how we supposed to be as Israel? You might not know the scriptures, but if you know it's wrong, you're supposed to address it. And depending on what it is, you address it, and then you also report it so that it can be dealt with further. Read on.
And verse 23, and those members of the body which we think to be less honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant honor, and our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness.
So all of us, in a nutshell, all of our voices matter. If the Most High called you into this truth, and now you into this in the body, your voice matters. There's no need to feel ashamed or none of that. If you see something, say something and be confident about it. Even if it feels like you're not gonna be heard, still say something. Because one thing you gotta understand, get Psalms chapter 118 and verse 6. Because even let's say you say something and you are mistreated. You say something and somebody do disregard what you got to say. Get Psalms 118 and 8.
Psalms chapter 118 verse 8. It is better to trust in the Lord.
Actually, start at verse 6.
Verse 6. The Lord is on my side. I will not fear. What can man do unto me? The Lord taketh my part with them.
Now so it says, the Lord is on my side. I will not fear. What can man do unto me? It ain't no man on this earth that could do anything to any one of us that's going to have some substantial damage to our soul, to our spirit. Yeah, they could say things, cause trauma and all that, but if you trusting in the Most High God got you. Go to jump to 8.
Verse 8. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man.
When you see something and you allow fear, whatever it is, that means you trusting in the men. You trusting in men. You're not trusting in the Most High God. At that moment, you trusting in men, because now you letting your fear of man supersede the fear that you're supposed to have towards God. That's idolatry. So now you putting yourself in a situation where now you're really adding sin unto sin. Because one, you're not applying Leviticus 5:1, and two, now you putting that man above the Most High God, because you're allowing the fear of man to supersede your fear towards the Most High. Read on.
Verse 9. It is better to put trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes.
So yes, we have order. You got people that set up over the congregation. You got various people, but your trust supposed to be in the Most High God, because any man can go off at any point in time. Because this is a hospital. We all in here getting our minds right. We all getting ourselves together. The only difference between some of us, we just been in longer. But ultimately, we all got stuff that we working on. So we can never let our a reverence or a so-called respect or fear towards a man or a sister stop us from applying the commandments of God. From there, go to Sirach chapter 20, and actually go to Romans 8 and 33. And then we're going to go to Sirach 20 and 22.
Romans chapter 8, verse 33. Who shall lay anything to the charge of God's elect? It is God that justifieth. Who is he that
so this is another thing we got to understand, that it says, who shall lay anything to the charge of God's elect? If we got that thought that, oh, my voice don't matter, I might get poor treatment. Ain't no man can justify you. It ain't no man on this earth that can present you as good before the Most High God. Read on.
Who is he that condemneth? It is Christ that died, yea, rather, that is risen again. Who is he that at the right hand of God?
Read that again.
Who is he that condemneth?
Nah, read that again.
Who is he that condemneth? It is Christ that died, yea, rather, that is risen again, who is even at the right hand of God, who also maketh intercession for us.
So we have to understand that Christ is the Most High. Christ is the one that justifies us, that can condemn us. He's the only one that can condemn us. A man can't do that. We get correct. The Most High works through, and don't hit me for what I'm not saying. Yeah, we may receive correction from a brother or sister, the leadership. You're gonna receive correction. And if you're spiritual, you'll receive that correction and say, hey, you know what? I see Christ in my brother or sister. So I'm going to take, even if I don't see it right away when they tell me, I'm going to ponder on it, I'm going to think on it, I'm going to examine myself. So if what they saying is right, I'm going to correct it. Right. We can't be quick to, nah, that ain't me, that ain't my spirit. Nah. Our brother correct us about something they see in us. Nah, that ain't me. That ain't my spirit. I don't do that. We quick to buck up. We quick to reject what they got to say. That means that we don't see Christ in each other. That goes right back to what we just read in Corinthians, that it's one body. We all part of one body, but we many members. We all have our different gifts and talents that we see certain things with certain things that we may not see, but we work together, and it's all for the profit of the body in totality. So a brother or sister might see something, and when they come and correct you, you got to be humble enough to be like, you know what, I don't see it, but I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna take note, and I'm gonna examine myself, because it might be something that I just overlooked. I may just be prideful about it, and I could be ignoring it, overlooking it in myself, because you see Christ in your brother. So you see that, because the Most High dealing with all of us to a certain extent. He's dealing with all of us to a certain level, because we wouldn't be here if he wasn't. So we have to understand that if our brothers or sister come and see something in us, we got to accept it. We got to accept it. Did you finish 35 or 34?
Verse, yes, sir.
Go to Sirach 20 and 22.
The book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 22. There is that destroyeth his own soul through bashfulness, and by accepting of persons overthroweth himself.
So it says there is that destroyeth his own soul through bashfulness. Hey, pull up the definition of bashfulness real quick. It says there's pretty much what it's saying is there's one that destroys his own soul because he's scared to say something. He's scared to speak up. He or she sees something that's off, that's out of order, that's not right, and because they bashful, they don't say nothing because they respect the person of they respect that man or that sister more than they respect God. Read that.
Bashful, socially shy or timid, resulting from or typical of bashful nature.
So read the go back up. Read them on definition 1. Read them blue words.
Diffident, self-conscious.
Self-conscious. Click on that real quick. So bashfulness, it says you self-conscious.
Self-conscious. A conscious of one's own acts or states as belonging to or originating in oneself. Aware of oneself as an individual. Intensely aware of oneself. Conscious.
Go down. That's the number 2. That's what we looking for.
Uncomfortably conscious of oneself as an object of the observation of others.
That's what it means when it says by accepting of persons overthroweth himself. Because you so conscious of what people think about you or what people gonna say or how they gonna look at you that you don't say nothing when you see evil. You don't say nothing when you see certain sin. You don't say nothing. Your brother or sister may offend you, and you're not gonna say nothing because you don't want to cause no problems. You don't want to cause no conflict. So you be quiet. You overthrowing yourself because you so focused on what another brother or sister may think or say about you that you actually gonna cause yourself to become bitter. Because if they offended you, if you don't deal with it, you're gonna grow bitter, and then you're gonna start looking at more people with an evil eye. A lot of times we fool ourselves and think that because we threw it on the bookshelf and we don't think about it every day, that we over it or we let it go. No, you just swept it under the rug, and eventually that rug, the stuff that you swept under the rug, is gonna pile up and you're gonna trip over it. Or you're gonna put so many books on the bookshelf that they're gonna start falling off the bookshelf. So we have to grow up and get rid of that spirit. We cannot roll in that spirit. And even with that, we have to start looking at we got to have a different viewpoint of correction, because we look at correction. Let me ask, is correction a good thing or a bad thing? It's a good thing. Now we all say that because we know what the scriptures say. But when the thought that you're about to be corrected comes up, do you run to it? No. We naturally we don't want to run to it because it's uncomfortable. It don't feel good at that moment. But correction is good. Because when you get Proverbs chapter 6 and 23.
Proverbs. The book of Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
Reproofs of instruction are the way of life. When we get corrected, that's good. Just like when you growing up as a child, you do something wrong, you get a whooping. Now you learn, you know what, I ain't gonna do that no more because that don't feel good. I don't want to go down that road again. So you get better. When you get corrected, you get better. And that's how we have to start looking at it, because correction is good. Give Psalms 141 and verse 5. Because a lot of times if you see something, say something, we don't say something because some of us may have the thought, oh, I don't want to get this person in trouble. No, you should be quick to get. You should want to get them in trouble, so that they can get better, because that's a level of hatred. It's a level of hatred because it's you basically saying, "Oh, I don't want them to get better. I'm gonna allow them to stay in their sin. I'm gonna allow them to continue to make the same mistakes, even though I see it. I ain't gonna say nothing because I don't want them. I don't want to get them in trouble." You basically saying, "I don't want them to grow." That's basically in a nutshell what you're saying. When you do things, when you have that mindset, even if it's towards yourself, you're saying that you don't want to grow. If you don't want to say nothing because you feel like, you know, if I say something, it's going to backfire on me. They're going to ask me this question, and then I'm going to get involved, and, you know, I ain't going to say nothing. Now you're not going to grow. Read that.
Psalms chapter 141, verse 5. Let the righteous smite me. It shall be a kindness.
It says, let the righteous smite me, and it shall be a kindness. So when we get corrected, even though it don't feel good right there in that moment, it's a kindness because now we learn, and we're not gonna be. I bet you, when you get that correction, you ain't gonna do it no more. That means you got better, you grew. So it's the same thing when things are going on. It's necessary. Correction is necessary because all of us, ain't none of us right. A lot of times we do stupid things, and when we do stupid things, it got to be corrected. That's just what it is. Just like those of us that got children. Your child do something stupid, you got to correct them so they learn not to. And of course, those of us that got smaller children, you got to correct them about 20 times for the same thing for them to actually get the picture. But they get the picture eventually, and they stop doing it. That's the purpose of correction. So we got to look at it like that. Like it don't feel good. Because those of us that, even if your children are older, when your children are younger, what they do when it's time to get disciplined, they cry, they start boo-hooing, and they ain't even got hit yet. They ain't even entered the room yet, and they start crying. They start running. They trying to avoid the pain. But if you like, you know what, I'm gonna let you be. I'm gonna let you be. Then they gonna grow like, you know what? All I gotta do is throw a fit, and I ain't gonna get that pain. So I'm gonna act like, and that's what children do. They do all that. They do all them dramatics to play on your emotions, so you start feeling sorry for them. But no, they need to feel that pain, so that way they know that it's unacceptable, and then they grow and they become better. That's what correction is. So when things are going on, we have to say something. It don't feel good all the time, but if we don't say nothing, if we don't go through that pain, then we won't grow. Because a lot of times, like for the brothers, when you let's say you don't know something about a particular topic. Maybe your sisters too. You don't know something about a particular topic, and somebody asks you a question about that topic, and you can't answer it. You feel a certain type of way. But going forward, you're gonna be like, I don't wanna be in that position no more. So I'm gonna make sure I fix that. Because I don't wanna feel like that no more. Right. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna go and find out. Or if the answer was given to me, you actually, a lot of times when you go through a certain pains, it help you remember. It help you remember it because it's like a bookmark in your mind. Okay, I didn't know this, or such and such happened. So now, anytime that question come up, I remember it because I don't want to go through that no more. So pain is good. Y'all can pull that up. Read that real quick.
Tolerance is hate. Correction is love, not the other way around. The ear that heareth the reproof of life abideth among the wise. He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul. But he that heareth reproof getteth understanding.
So that's that Proverbs. Is that the? Let's get that. Let's get that real quick. Because this is going into that correction. We can't roll in the spirit where we always avoiding correction, because it'll hinder us from growing. What was that? 15 and what? Read 10.
Proverbs chapter 15, verse 10. Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way.
So it says correction is grievous to him that forsaketh the way. So if you have the mindset, oh, I don't want to get this, I don't want to get him in trouble, I don't want to get her in trouble, that means you forsaking the way of the Lord. That means correction is grievous to you, and you hate the commandments. You hate God, really. Because that's what they're saying. It says correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way. I don't want to get him in trouble. I don't want to get her in trouble. No, you should want them to get in trouble, and they should want to get in trouble. Even though it don't feel good, they should want to, because that's how we're going to grow. Read.
And he that hateth reproof shall die.
It says he that hateth reproof, that means you're going to die. So if you hate to be corrected. You hate to be in an arena where you're going to get corrected. You may get embarrassed. You hate it, that means you're going to die, because you will never correct your wicked ways. Because you, in your mind, you got it all together. You're doing everything right. So you avoid being corrected. You're going to die, because you're never going to grow. You're never going to grow. Jump to 33.
Verse 33. The fear of the Lord is the instruction.
Start at 31.
Verse 31. The ear that heareth the reproof of life abideth among the wise.
So when we hear the reproof of life, we get that correction. Read.
He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul.
That go right back to what we just read in verse 10.
But he that heareth reproof getteth understanding.
Or you get better. After you get corrected, you get reproved. Now you're better. You're better than what you were before, because now you know what not to do. You know how you're supposed to move. So now you grown. Pull that article back up real quick.
The fear of the Lord is instruction.
No, you ain't got to read the what it say, have you go down?
Have you ever seen a child do something dangerous, like run towards a busy street or get too close to a hot stove or heater, and their parents had to correct them, perhaps first with a verbal warning, then, if not heeded, with a spanking? The correction was not given out of hate or even out of a desire to control for the sake of control, but rather for the child's own good, out of the parents' great love and desire to protect and preserve the child. The child may not see it that way. They may pout, cry, but it is for their own good. Nonetheless, the parent is simply trying to save the child, and they know that a little discomfort now is worth it to try to prevent tragedy and destruction later.
So that's it. We could drop that. So pain is good. We have to understand that correction is good, because when we go through certain things, we learn not to do. We learn and grow and learn not to do certain things. So when it comes to various things that go on, you may witness something, you may witness sin, you may bump heads with your brother or sister. It's okay to even though it may be uncomfortable, it's good to go and talk to your brother or your sister, because now once y'all make peace or come to a resolve, now you done gained your brother, and you actually have strengthened you. After that conversation, the bond that y'all have should become stronger. You might not be best of buddies, but now you understand each other better. And that's what we have to. We can't run from those things. We can't run from those type of situations. And even in the case of, let's say, somebody is going around doing evil and you see it, this person could be maliciously trying to destroy the congregation. And if you don't say nothing, you pretty much siding with them. You saying that they good. You're siding with them and saying that, hey, I want this congregation to be destroyed. I want what the Most High is building and trying to grow. I want it to falter. I want it to fall. Get Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 11.
Proverbs chapter 24, verse 11. If thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain, if thou sayest, behold, we knew it not.
So it says, if thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, meaning that you stand by and don't do nothing. You know somebody finna go down the path of death, and you just sit there and be like, all right, it ain't me. It ain't me. I'm finna go home. It ain't got nothing to do with me. Read.
If thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain, if thou sayest, behold, we knew it not.
I seen him finna go drive over that bridge, but I ain't know he finna drive over that bridge. I ain't see that. Read.
Doth not he that pondereth the heart consider it?
Don't you know that the Most High know your thoughts? He seen that you seen it. The Most High know that, and he gonna hold you accountable for it. Read.
And he that keepeth thy soul, doth not he know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works?
So you see somebody going astray, breaking the commandments, but you don't say nothing. That, go to Ezekiel. And we read this more so. We read this more so with the men. We go out and teach camp. We go out and teach on the streets. We correcting our people. But this also applies to all of us. It applies to the brothers and sisters. Ezekiel 3 and 17.
Ezekiel chapter 3 verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. If thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul.
So, first and foremost, we know that this is talking about the men. We going out and teaching the people. We going out and doing these things. But this same principle applies in a day-to-day. We see certain things that happen, and you turn a blind eye, you don't say nothing, and your brother or sister they may be doing something ignorantly. You see it, you know it's wrong, and you don't say nothing to them. If they die in that iniquity, the blood is going to be required at your head. The Most High going to say, I allowed this to happen in front of you for you to correct it, but you turned a blind eye and act like you ain't see nothing. You didn't go and report it to the leadership. You just said, somebody revealed to you that they committed adultery, and you was like, hey, that's them. You didn't say nothing. The Most High is going to require their blood at your hand because you didn't correct them. You didn't do what you needed to do to make sure that situation got dealt with. But if you do say something to them and they continue doing it, now you can say, well, that's on them. I did what I was supposed to do. I told them that what they was doing was wrong. I let the leadership know. The leadership corrected them. They decided to continue doing it. I did what I was supposed to do. That's the spirit and the mindset that we have to have. Pull up. What did we just read? Proverbs 24.
Ezekiel 3 and 17, Proverbs 24.
Let me see. 1 second. Let me look at 24. No, that's not what I want. Nope, that's not it. Pull up that. Let's go back to them other images. We was talking about the fear of the consequences.
Avoiding conflict. Some people are naturally conflict avoidant and feel very uncomfortable with confrontation. They may prefer peace, even at the cost of their own well-being.
That go right back to that scripture we just read. Because of bashfulness, you destroy your own soul.
Cultural or religious conditioning. Certain cultures or religious teachings may train individuals to turn the other cheek or to be submissive, especially in family or church settings. This can be misapplied and lead to silence in the face of abuse or injustice. Confusion or shock.
Go to the next one.
Confusion or shock. Sometimes people are caught off guard or hurt that they don't know how to respond in the moment. They may not fully realize they were wronged until later. Gaslighting or manipulation. They've been manipulated into doubting their own perceptions of events. Abusers often twist facts or make the victim feel guilty for speaking up. Learned helplessness. Repeated experiences of being ignored or mistreated with no justice can cause a person to give up trying to speak out. They feel like nothing will change, so why bother? Hope for change or denial. They hope things will get better on their own. They may also be in denial about how serious the wrong really was.
Right. So a lot of times, if you see something, that's what it's just going right back to the title. If you see something, say something, because you could be in your mind talking yourself out of it, but that's all just fear. You fearing. You just in your emotions, really. You in your emotions. You don't want to step out and be uncomfortable. But that's something that we have to, as a people, we got to get rid of that spirit. That we don't want to say nothing because we don't want to cause no trouble. We don't want to get nobody in trouble. We got to get rid of that spirit because you're going to be put in situations where you going to see something and ain't nobody else going to see it but you. And it's going to be up to you to say something because you seen it, and guess who else know you seen it? The Most High. The Most High allowed you to be in that position because he wants you to say something. But you try to turn a blind eye, then it's not gonna go good for you because you're not gonna grow. And you're gonna get the same judgment. And then it's gonna that spirit is gonna continue to destruct. Go to Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 24.
Proverbs chapter 29, verse 24. Whoso is partner with a thief hated his own soul.
So it says, if you're a partner with a thief, you hate your own soul. So you could be a partner with a thief, meaning you rolling with that thief. You rolling with that thief, y'all plotting and planning together. Or you could be a partner with a thief by you seen a thief steal something, and you turn the blind eye like, I'm going to act like I ain't see that. I don't even want to get involved. Meddle not in the matter that concerneth thee not. No, you just seen him steal something. You supposed to say something. Because if you don't say nothing, you in agreement with what he doing. You in agreement with that thief. If a brother or sister come murmuring and you don't correct them, you in agreement with them murmuring. If a brother or sister is disgruntled about another brother and they come talking to you about it and you just listen to them and just nod your head, you might not engage in the conversation, but you listening to them, you in agreement. You showing your agreement by not saying nothing. Pull up that next image. Did we finish that scripture? Read it again.
Whoso is partner with the thief hated his own soul.
So if you partner with a thief, you hate your own soul. Why? Because you partner with somebody that's breaking the commandments. You hate your soul because if you sin, you die. And you partner with it, so you basically saying that it's okay to do. Read.
He heareth cursing and bewrayeth it not.
It says he heareth cursing and bewrayeth it not. Pull up that definition of bewray. Because this is not an everyday word that we hear on a regular basis. Pull up that definition for bewray. Y'all, did y'all get? Y'all got it? Yeah.
Bewray is an archaic verb meaning to reveal or disclose something, often unintentional or in a way that exposes something hidden. It can also mean to betray or inform against someone. Essentially, it signifies the act of making something public that was previously private or concealed.
Because you gotta think about it. If things are going on, let's say something happened between, let's say it's two sisters, it's two brothers, it's a brother and a sister. Let's say some evil happened between you and that person, but you're the only one that's seen it. But depending on the nature, if it's something that offends you, of course, you apply Matthew 18. But if it's something it may be inappropriate, it's your job to address it, but you also have to let the leadership know. Right. Because if it's something inappropriate, think about it is like this. If there's no witnesses, you're not letting the leadership know so that the leadership can go and try to issue a judgment, because can't no judgment be issued because there's no witnesses. But let's say this one situation happens. You let leadership know, leadership mental notes it. Then something else happens 2 weeks later with the same person, but somebody else reported, and it's the same thing. Let's say they walking around stealing. They stealing pens from people. You see it, but don't nobody see it. Then it just keep coming up. Over the course of 3 months, 5-6 different people report the same thing about their spirit. Now it's okay. With each situation, there's no witness, but where there's smoke, there's fire. If this keep coming up, hey, bro, you dealing with a thieving spirit? Because I keep hearing you about you stealing stuff, and ain't no witnesses. I can't really do nothing. But are you stealing stuff? Are you what's going on? Is everything okay? Because it keep coming up. If you see smoke, if you look outside and you see smoke, what's happening? It's a fire over there. So if something keeps, if a certain behavior keeps coming up about a certain person, it's up to you. You have to still say something. Yes, if one witness rise up, let's get that real quick. Deuteronomy, I think it's 17. 19 and 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse
19.
Chapter 19, verse 15. If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him.
15.
Excuse me. Verse 15. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin, in any sin that he sinneth. At the mouth of two witnesses, or at the mouth of three witnesses, shall the matter be established.
So one witness can't rise up and then now some judgment going forth. No. But if you see certain things, I seen XYZ, I just want to let you know there ain't no witness. And then if it keep coming up, of course, if it's different secluded incidents, we still can't, no judgment can still go forth. But if this same thing keep coming up with the same person, something ain't right. It's something going on. A conversation can be had like, hey, be mindful of how you move with XYZ, because your name, I don't know what the truth is. It may be something, it may not, but your name keep coming up. Watch how you doing XYZ. So that way that person, if they is doing something, because if it is a case that ain't no witnesses, they doing something, it could be brought to their attention, and now they can, dang, you know what, I was doing this. You know what, I was doing it. I was doing whatever it may be. You know what, let me examine myself. Let me step back. Let me fall back from doing that. Because it still can be addressed, but of course it's not established because there's no other witnesses. But if like I said, if over the course of 3 to 6 months, this same person keep coming up about the same thing, something's happening. These people ain't just making stuff up. If it's the same thing, you dealing with something. Go back to, did we finish that definition of berate? Yeah, let's read that again. Proverbs 29 and 24.
Proverbs chapter 29, verse 24. Whoso is partner with a thief hated his own soul.
So if you partner with a thief, meaning you know this brother or sister a thief, and you ain't nothing, or you know this brother a thief and you rolling with him to go steal something, you despise your own soul. Read.
He heareth cursing and bereaveth it not.
You hear somebody vowing or swearing, saying they're gonna do something, knowing dang well they not gonna do it. They lying, and you don't say nothing. You don't reveal it. Read it again.
Whoso is partner with a thief hateth his own soul. He heareth cursing and bereaveth it not.
So you hear evil, you see evil, but you don't say nothing. You keep it quiet. You keep it under the wraps because you don't want to get nobody in trouble. Read verse 25.
Verse 25. The fear of man bringeth a snare.
It says the fear of man bringeth a snare. When you put a man in the place of the Most High God, you bring a snare, because what's going to happen is if that man fall, what's going to happen to you? You're going to fall right with him. You're going to fall right with him. Just popped in my head. Get Proverbs 27 and verse 5.
Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love.
Read it again.
Open rebuke is better than secret love.
It says open rebuke is better than secret love. Read it again.
Open rebuke is better than secret love.
It's better to whether it's you or it's a situation where you got to report it, and now this brother or sister got to get stood up in front of the congregation. That's better than you just not say nothing. You go and hide, act like you didn't see nothing, because now this brother, let's say whatever it is, they continue doing in it, they gonna end up falling out the truth because you didn't say nothing. They gonna end up getting sucked back into the world because you didn't say nothing to help them. Read.
Faithful are the wounds of a friend.
And it says, faithful are the wounds of a friend. Faithful. So when you that person to say, nah, I ain't having that. You my brother, I love you. I'm gonna correct you, or I'm telling leadership. You gotta be that shows that you're faithful because you care about your brother or your sister. You want them to get better. You don't want them to continue in the same behavior, the same sin, the same whatever it is that they caught up in. You want to see them do better, so that's why you're gonna tell. That's why you're gonna reveal it. You're not gonna see something and then turn the other cheek. You're not gonna be the hear no evil, see no evil. You're gonna be the person that see the evil and you're gonna say something because you want them to grow and you want the body to grow. Get James chapter 5 and verse 19.
The book of James chapter 5 and verse 19. Brethren, if any of you do err from the truth, and one convert him, let him know that which converted the sinner from the error of his way shall save a soul from death.
Read that again.
Verse 19. Brethren, if any of you do err from the truth.
So if anybody err from the truth, they stumble, they get caught up in some sin. They get caught up in the midst of some folly. Read.
And one convert him, let him know that he which converteth the sinner from the error of his way shall save a soul from death and shall hide a multitude of sins.
Meaning he's going to be forgiven because he repented. Because you seen it, you corrected it, you addressed it, you brought it to leadership, and now this person is able to get themselves, they able to correct whatever behavior they was into, they able to correct it. But if you don't say nothing, you the person that the Most High allowed to see it to pull your brother or your sister back in. But if you don't say nothing, all hope is lost because you the one that the Most High put in their path to be able to correct them and show them that they going off. But if you like, nah, I don't want to get in. I don't want to. Maybe if I correct him, he gonna look at me different. Maybe if I correct him, he gonna get some back talk. It's gonna be he'll give me a rebuttal. I don't want to hear that, so I'm not gonna say nothing. We can't move like that. Who cares if he or she give you a rebuttal? It's our job. It's all of our job. If we see our brother or our sister going off, it's our job to say something. If we love our people, we say we love God, we gonna correct our brother or sister when they doing something off, when they doing something wrong. And depending on this, if it's a situation between a brother and a sister, well, if it's a situation between brothers, sisters, and then sometimes stuff happen between a brother and a sister. If it's personal, you got to apply Matthew 18. But if it's something that could be detrimental to the body, you can address it, but you still must bring it to the leadership so that the leadership can step in and handle it to where if it is something that got to be to the extreme, it can go to that extreme. But we can't move in that same snitches get stitches spirit, because we may not say that. We may not say it. We may not we may not think that's what we doing, but that's what we doing. If we got that mindset of, I don't want to get this person in trouble, I don't want to cause no problems. You are causing the problem by not saying something. You causing the problem by not saying something. Give me, what's that other image? I think I got one more image. Yeah, bring the silence breeds agreement.
The phrase silence breeds agreement suggests that when someone doesn't speak up or express disagreement, it can be interpreted as acceptance or consent. This idea often used in discussions about communication, relationships, and even legal matters. However, it's crucial to recognize that silence can also stem from other factors like fear, confusion, or a desire to avoid conflict, and doesn't always signify agreement.
Don't forget your question.
Here's a more detailed breakdown. Interpretation of silence.
So, because a lot of times when you read this stuff, they take you over there somewhere. If you see something and you don't say nothing, you can have it in your mind and say, I don't agree with that. But if you don't say nothing, you showing that you agree with it, because you're not doing nothing to correct it. You're not doing nothing to actually fix it. You're allowing whatever it is to continue. So you are agreeing with it, because you're not doing nothing. You in your mind, you hope maybe somebody else gonna see it. So you agreeing with it because you're not gonna do something to stop it. And then you got certain people that see something, and instead of going to somebody that can solve the problem, they go and gossip about it.
Who does that?
They just go to vent and talk to somebody that is not gonna be able to provide a solution. Somebody that's gonna add fuel to the fire and be like, yeah, I seen that too. Okay, so what's the solution? So that's what we have. We have to wrap our mind around that. When we see certain things, if we see it, no, it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an accident. You saw it. The Most High made sure that you saw it so that you could say something. Read that. No, that's it. That's it. Because I think this finna go off. It's finna go off into some other stuff. Whether you see something and you silent because you scared, you fear, you don't want to have a conflict, whatever it is, if you don't say nothing, you agree with it. You saying that it's okay because you're not stopping it. You're not doing nothing to stop it. You might not be the one that have the power or authority to stop it, but because you've seen it, you can get it to somebody that can stop it. That can stop the behavior, that can correct the behavior. So that's the spirit that we have to develop being in this truth, is when we see something, we got to say something. Because things are going to happen. We sick. We all are in the process of getting right. So there's going to be a variation of things that go on and happen. Sometimes you're going to be the person to see it. Sometimes you might be the person that get the secondhand knowledge from the person that's seen it, but they really don't know how to say it or how to address it. So they're going to come to you. Now you got to be the person to say, hey, you know what? Let's go up to the leadership. Hey, this is how you handle it. That's what we have to do, because that's the only way things are going to get fixed. Get Ephesians 5:11.
Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 11. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them.
So it's when you see something, it's your job to correct it. If you're not going to correct it, get somebody that is. Get leadership. Get somebody that will correct the issue. But you can't just let it be. You can't just let it be. It says, have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness. If you see evil, you have to address it. You have to address it. Go to Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 20, and I'm going to close out with this.
Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil.
Now, you might not say it out your mouth like that article was finna go into, saying that it don't always mean that you agree with it. If you see something and you don't say nothing, mentally you may not agree with it based on the principles that you know or the things that you know is right. But because you didn't do nothing to address it and stop it from happening, you showed your agreeance to it because you didn't step beyond your emotions to actually correct it. You allowed fear, doubt, whatever it may be. They was going to give you a rebuttal. Whatever it was going to be, you allowed that to stop you from applying the commandments. So this would apply to you. You may not just think about because this is what Christianity does. Christianity say, yeah, you gotta keep the commandments. You gotta do what the Bible say do. Okay, if a brother you shave your beard, well, Leviticus, that's the old covenant. You're double minded. That's what that's called. You being double minded. Read on.
Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil.
Uh-huh.
That put darkness for light and light for darkness.
Uh-huh.
That put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
So that's what at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. If you see something and you don't say nothing, you don't address it, you don't make sure that it's getting fixed, you are calling evil good. You saying that evil is good because you're not doing nothing. You're trying to put it on somebody else to fix. When you the one that seen it initially, it's on you to fix it.
That is powerful nigga.
So I'm gonna conclude the class with that. I pray that you all got something from it. Most High in Christ bless.